Happy Halloween, movie fans. Yep, after that, well, pretty bad movie review that I did on Dark Skies, I figured I'd move on to actually a good horror film review. Yeah, this one is The Conjuring. Now, I had obviously, like anybody else would, skeptical expectations on this one, thinking, oh, is this going to be a bad horror film? Because horror films nowadays, you don't know where to look for a good one. But honestly, I can say this film is a perfect example of a horror film, or I should say American horror film classic, in the genre of classic horror done right. That's right. From the same producer or as a director of Insidious Chapter 1, and of course there's a Chapter 2 out now. But this one is set to hit Blu-ray and DVD, I believe the 22nd of this month? Yeah, perfect timing, right? For Halloween. Perfect timing for a good scare. Now for this one, why is this movie so great, may I ask? Well, for one thing, it's an R-rated horror film. And like most other R-rated horror films nowadays, it's all crappy remakes and all kinds of slasher films involving killing teenagers or first showing nudity out of teenagers and girls and such, and then killing them and cursing and, it's a typical crap that you'd see out of horror films nowadays. But not this one. This, as I said before, is classic R-rated horror done right. Why? Well, it doesn't have any of that nonsense, It does have its, inspirations, but it does try on its own to try to be its own type of horror film. To me, it reminds me sort of the classic Amityville Horror. In fact, they actually mention it at the end of it. Sorry to spoil it. It should read that this review does contain spoilers. But yeah, it's a typical family moves into a house, doesn't know what to expect. I mean, shouldn't they have checked the place out first? And from what I heard, it supposedly is based on a true story. And it involves, of course, exorcism and all this weird shit happening at night. But don't worry, it's definitely worth checking out. I'm not going to really get into full detail, but it's that kind of story. And of course, they rely on a bunch of, demonic or spiritual experts to come investigate the place, and they realize obviously something is wrong. And I believe it's somewhere in Rhode Island. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very well-paced film. It does start out a little bit slow at some parts, but after a while, it does build up a lot of suspense, and it definitely gets you intrigued and very engaged into the film. I'd say the acting was very well done. It was, well, what you could really want or expect out of a horror film. I mean, if you're still looking for a great horror film that just came out recently, well, you could stop looking right here because trust me, this is one absolutely done right. I mean, for the most part, yeah, as I said before, it may not be the most original film in the horror genre, but trust me, it's well worth it. If you could somehow get your hands on this one, or better yet, just rent it at least, give it that at least. I mean, if you're looking for a good scare for Halloween, go for it. Believe me. This is horror, as I said before, for the third time, done right. So, my final verdict on this one playing Wii Remote up and one playing, well, Wii Motion Plus or Wii Mode up. Believe me, it's that good. So, until next time, happy Halloween.